Hello and welcome to another edition of MassCAC Student Athlete Spotlight, where I get the amazing privilege to interview a student athlete from around the conference. I'm Emily Liu, MassCAC Assistant Commissioner, and speaking with me today is Mike Henricksen of UMass Dartmouth Football. Thank you so much for being here today, Mike.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, so easy one off the bat. What first drew you to football?
So, what first drew me to football, honestly, nothing really drew me to do it, but I was just, 8 or 9 years old, figured I'd sign up for a little extracurricular activity. And what drew me to fall in love with football and keep playing it was just the idea of working with a team, being able to collaborate with others. Being so young, it was nice to be able to make some new friends, build some relationships with people that I hadn't really been able to talk to in school and such, and carry those relationships on for years to come and up until now. And obviously, grew up living in Massachusetts, watching the Patriots. So I was always a fan of that. And also, still to this day, being a defensive minded guy, I just really enjoy hitting people.
And being allowed to do it
Yeah,
without getting in
exactly.
trouble. Well,
Exactly.
most of the time, as long as you do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
So usually in high school and, when you're younger, you have to play both sides of the ball.
Yes.
So what did you play on offense?
So on offense, because I'm kind of a big bodied guy, I played tight end in middle school and high school. And growing up, actually, before I hit a big growth spurt, I was the center on my offensive line in youth.
All right.
Yeah, how times have changed.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. So what was it about UMass Dartmouth that made you want to attend there for college?
So I had a few other colleges in mind, but the one that was most appealing was UMass Dartmouth because I only live about 20-25 minutes from here. So I do live on campus because obviously it's difficult to commute with football, that schedule. So I can really go home whenever I want, only a 25-minute drive. Also, coming out of high school, I had intentions on majoring in engineering, and I read up on UMass Dartmouth, and they had a really good civil engineering program, which is what I'm enrolled in right now. But most importantly, UMass Dartmouth was one of the few schools that kind of all the stars aligned between majoring in what I wanted to major in, being close to home, and also having the opportunity to play football. So that's what really narrowed down my decision to come here because, like I said, all the stars aligned and it's worked out pretty well so far.
Do you want to give a shout out to your hometown while you have a chance?
Absolutely. Shout out Lakeville, Mass. All my friends from home, coaches, teachers.
All right. So I don't need you to remind you about the success of the Corsairs football program. You guys have been dominant the last few years, especially. What makes this specific group so special?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, to put it in simple words, I think what makes our group so special, since honestly, my class, the senior and graduating class, since I've gotten here, is our buy-in to this program. And I think with that comes buying into the priorities that are bigger than football. Um, and that is being on time to things, especially in the off season. We have our off season lifts that when I first got here, it was a little shaky, but my class, some of our leaders, we took it upon ourselves to hold each other accountable, hold the younger guys accountable, and make sure that we were getting to those lifts, kind of changing the culture of our program, which we've done a tremendous job with. That's something us seniors really pride ourselves on. And something that we all have really done that's gone a long way is following our coach's morals, which are, attacking every opportunity with an energy, focus, and grit that is unknown. And that's gone a long way for us. Something he really preaches to us that's so important, that's kind of brushed on the back burner for a lot of guys, especially the younger guys coming in, being so focused on football, is academics. We've focused time in and time out on academics, making sure classes are more important because that kind of stuff leads into stuff bigger than football, especially when you're done with college. So that sort of buy-in has really just helped us, build relationships with each other, get closer from seniors and graduates all the way down to the freshman level. I think the relationships and the chemistry we have on this team, especially with, my class and the success we've had has been unmatched. And, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be able to share the field, the locker room, the meetings, practices with the guys that I've been surrounded by for 4 years.
All right. That's amazing to hear. Love to hear that, you kind of embody the whole Division 3 spirit there. And,
Absolutely.
the importance of academics, and that kind of segues into my next question. You mentioned earlier that UMass Dartmouth had an engineering program, and you're wrapping up your time at UMass Dartmouth, and your major is civil engineering. So can you kind of talk about the short-term goals you might have and maybe some of the longer term ones?
Yeah, so short term, I would say is honestly just to keep living and learning, taking and absorbing as much information as I can absorb, being young and kind of being at that level where I'm not a master at any sort of field of engineering. So I think right now, I'm someone that loves to learn, so I'm willing to sit back or, be a mentee to a mentor that sits back and absorbs information and learns now. So my long-term goals kind of play out for themselves and allow myself to be, a competent coworker, an employee, and be able to kind of lead by example, something I pride myself in. And, hopefully one day being that boss or manager position or whatever position it may be, to be able to use my experience to help lead people in the field.
What would your dream job be with your degree, you think?
That's a good question. Actually, I haven't really thought that one through. I actually have a few jobs I'm looking at right now as a government position with the aviation industry to be able to work on the construction field and be a field engineer. So once that kind of sprouted in my mind, the opportunity to work for the government sounds really cool. But other than that, I haven't had really any crazy aspirations. Just whatever comes to me, whatever's a good opportunity to allow myself to learn and grow in my career.
There you go. Hey, you know what? That's admirable in and of itself. So, um, well, obviously, we wish you the best of luck in that
Thank you so
too.
much. Thank
Um,
you.
so, you're a senior, you've got a lot of time under your belt. What have been some of your favorite memories as a Division 3 student athlete?
Um, Obviously memories I've had with, friends outside of football, roommates, hanging out, watching football on Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays. That's always a good time, especially in the off season, being able to kind of enjoy the recovery and body cool down process after the season. But the athlete part, I think to this day, my favorite memory is probably my sophomore year, 2 years ago, winning our first conference title in quite some time up at Plymouth State. That was just the icing on the cake to a remarkable year from top to bottom, coaches all the way to the bottom. And, that's that getting that title has really pushed us and motivated us, um, and to lead into something else. I think honestly, some harsh memories have really helped us grow, helped myself grow, and the losses that we've taken throughout the past 4 years. It's only been, 6 or 7 of them, but those 6 or 7, we really, we look ourselves in the mirror and we ask ourselves how we can be better. So those memories kind of push us to better ourselves and better myself as a person, which has really helped me as I've evolved as a person. And obviously the relationships I've built with my teammates, all of us can kind of say we're not just teammates, we're friends outside of football, which is something that, we take a lot of pride in, being able to form relationships that hopefully carry on throughout college. And then my last memory would probably have to be hopefully, a month and a half from now winning another conference championship. Hopefully get into that NCAA playoff spot and winning us a playoff game.
I would say that's a very good goal and a potential memory for you. So, all right, we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit and get to know Mike on a kind of sillier personal level. So, all right, Mike, Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Duncan.
What's your go-to order there?
A medium ice caramel swirl, some wake up wraps, and a hash brown. That's if I'm really hungry. Otherwise, just a coffee.
Not a large, you only need a medium? I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
just a medium will get the job done.
All right, college football or NFL?
College.
All right, your favorite type of cleat?
Uh Man, I've been rocking with these cleats since the seventh grade. I'm gonna have to go with the Under Armour highlights.
All
Good
right.
ankle support.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I get super nervous before games, so if you want to call that a ritual. Other than that, no. Something I've noticed the past 2 years, actually, not just for myself, but for some of my closer friends on the team. My friend Jackson, Sam Alicia, on the defensive side of the ball, we actually, up until about 2 minutes before we take the field, we are so focused. We do not talk to each other. Like we barely talk to each other until it's go time, and then we go out there and we give it our all.
All right, that's a ritual, whether
Yeah, I
you
guess
meant
you
to
can
do it
call
or
it
not.
that.
All right, if you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, Man, I don't know. I'll keep it simple and go with my mom because I miss my mom.
Oh, no. You wanna give your mom a shout out now?
Yeah, shout out mom. Miss you, mom.
Oh. As a mom, that is super sweet and adorable, and hopefully my kids would say that for me too, so even though they're only 5 and 3. All right, last question. UMass Dartmouth blue or gold?
Man, I gotta go with the classic gold. I like the blues, but those jerseys are a little tight, and the golds are, those are nowadays. Those are the throwbacks. But when I first got here, we wore those home and away. So the classic stitch jersey, I gotta go with the gold.
All right. Mike, thank you so much for meeting with me today,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
and stay tuned next week for another edition of MassCAC Student Athlete Spotlight.